G'day, chaps, 'tis I, Clumpager139. After all my Riddler escapades in that previous video, you'd think I'd have suffered enough and would just let the Green Man ruin his sanity on his own terms. Well, I enjoy my fair share of masochism, so have elected to keep going with stupid ideas that bring a perfect combination of pain and pleasure. This time I'm gonna suffer even more though, as I bring my second least favorite character into the challenge. How many Riddler trophies can you collect as Catwoman? As most of us probably know, Catwoman has her own trophies and physical challenges in Arkham City. You've no doubt seen the red Riddler trophies while exploring the overworld as Batman, and been electrified for trying to pick them up because they're meant for the cat. However, what you may not have known is that this rule does not apply in reverse. Catwoman is actually allowed to pick up Batman's trophies. It's actually a somewhat important part of the 100% speedrun that uses her, and is where this challenge comes into play. I have a story-completed save file with absolutely no Riddler challenges completed. I must now play as Catwoman and collect every possible trophy as only her. I can't play as Batman for any reason aside from starting up the save file and immediately switching to his feline companion. With those super simple rules out of the way, let's see just how disappointed Eddie will be when he sees someone else doing Batman's job. We've got 400 trophies to collect and no time to spare, so let's load up the save and get collecting. We start with this trophy on top of the museum to get our count started, and realize that since I haven't collected anything with Batman, that Riddler's page on the pause menu doesn't exist. So I now have to go off of memory to get all these things and hope I don't miss anything. Well, let's head into the museum itself and see what we can do. Starting with this trophy behind a weak wooden wall that we can punch down and use 3 quickfire bolas on the switches to open. It is a very close call because Catwoman doesn't fire nearly as quick as Batman, but it is possible to get. We also destroy this penguin in the opposite room and another penguin next to the Batman trophy case. There's a third penguin by this trophy we destroy for a challenge, but the challenge complete prompt doesn't pop up because we haven't technically unlocked challenges. There's a ton of trophies in the Gladiator Pit, but we can't get any of them because of how limited Catwoman is. So we'll just have to settle for destroying 2 penguins and moving on. The same holds true for the torture chamber. There's tons of trophies in here, but we can't get any of them because of Catwoman's limited moveset. All we can do is destroy a single penguin on this boat and move into the armory, where after taking out all the enemies, we can actually grab a couple of trophies. We can grab this one behind the weak wall on the top floor, and this other one hiding in a grate. We can also destroy 2 more penguins, which is one shy of giving us another challenge, but we destroy them anyway. And that's already all we can do in the museum. We collect only 3 trophies and destroy a few penguins. We can't even get over to the Iceberg Lounge or the War Room because there's simply no path for Catwoman to take over there. That just goes to show how limited Catwoman is and how important Batman is to this mission. There's a ton of trophies in the back corner of the Bowery, but we can't get any of them because they all require very specific gadgets like explosive gel and remote batarangs. So we'll have to settle for this one where we slide under these dangerous spikes before time runs out and get a great view courtesy of Selena. We also grab this trophy on top of the pillar, and try as I might, are not able to get this trophy on top of the horse statue. There might be a way to get her to jump on here, but as far as I could experiment, she just can't make the jump. Try it for yourself and tell me I'm an idiot if you somehow got it, but I couldn't manage. I also started destroying cameras while doing this, and just so I don't have to disrupt the flow and explain every single camera for the second video in a row, just know that Catwoman can get every single camera in the game, as well as every balloon in Industrial and Amusement, which adds up to 24 total challenges over the course of the rest of this video, 16 for the cameras, plus 8 for the balloons. Continuing on our trophy collection spree, we head below the glass ceilings of the Bowery to collect this trophy on the other side of Riddler's hideout, as well as smash down this weak wall and collect a trophy behind it. I then headed into the subway to start collecting there because I wanted to get the sub areas out of the way first if I could help it. We start not with a trophy, but with some chattering teeth in the first and second room, which we can thankfully break with the bolas. Inside this grate is our first trophy we can actually collect that also leads into the area proper with 2 more teeth along the way. Behind this train car is another trophy we can actually collect, and behind this wall is another set of teeth. We're mere inches away from collecting this trophy on top of the subway car, but we just can't reach it. There's no ceiling for Catwoman to grab onto, and of course she doesn't have the back claw. No, her whip doesn't do it. But we can get another set of teeth right here. We can also break another wood barrier to collect this trophy way back here. There are 2 more chattering teeth as we head into the sewers, as well as this trophy which we can reach by hanging on the ceiling and walk across the moat. Another set of teeth is hanging out on the other side of this moat, and we can climb up this waterfall to collect a trophy right here. The other waterfall gives us another set of chattering teeth, and 1 more is back by the industrial entrance to the area, which would give us all of them, but we actually missed one. There's 1 more set of teeth out by the entrance to Wonder City, but we can't get them because Catwoman can't even access Wonder City to begin with. So not only do we miss this set of chattering teeth, meaning we only get 3 challenges instead of 4, we also can't get inside Wonder City, cutting off a huge portion of potential trophies for us. So we must start our industrial collection, starting with this trophy underneath the excavating machine, which is just sitting out in the open for anyone to get. There's also this trophy right next to it where we normally roll between these pressure plates, but Catwoman's roll doesn't actually go far enough. So instead, we have to cling on this coincidentally placed grated ceiling to walk between the plates and collect the trophy. I swear, sometimes they know exactly what we're trying to do, and sometimes they have no idea. And frankly, I'm not sure which one applies to this scenario. We can also climb onto the steel mill to get this trophy behind yet another weak wood wall, and then head inside the mill itself to collect absolutely nothing. We can't get anything through the back door, so let's try the front instead. After running alongside the opposite end of the mill to collect this trophy hiding under here, running across these pressure plates where they turn green to collect 2 trophies, hitting the correct spinning switch to collect this one, rolling over these switches to cheese this trophy, walking through the mine maze to get this one, rolling through the 3 more wooden walls to get this trophy, and okay, I got a little distracted before heading inside. In fact, I didn't, because I actually headed to Amusement Mile first. Starting with this trophy on top of the radio tower and another alternating switch trophy down below. We can then actually head into the GCPD to collect this single trophy in the morgue, but we can't go any farther because it's blocked by steam pipes and Catwoman doesn't have freeze blasts. There's 1 more trophy on the GCPD itself hiding inside this vent that we can actually get, but that's all for the area. There's this trophy behind yet another weak wooden wall on the frozen swimming pool we can get, as well as another timed sliding trophy that gives us a lovely camera angle. There's 1 more trophy underneath Maxi Zeus behind, you guessed it, another weak wooden wall. There's also this trophy where you have to run over 3 panels right next to each other, and the Simon Says trophy behind the crane, which are very easily obtainable. With that, I actually headed into the church, where I could only collect a single trophy behind yet another weak wooden wall by the confessionals. But that was all I could do, so had to leave. I was honestly surprised I could enter the church at all, but I guess since I never activated Riddler's quest, it wouldn't have any reason to be locked off to Catwoman, so I'll always take that small win. Now that we're in Park Row, we can start collecting around here, starting with this trophy behind, what else, a weak wood wall in the political prisoner camp. We can also hit this switch on top of this building to open the trophy behind it, and collect this trophy behind the church by walking on the ceiling to avoid the red pressure plates. There's also this trophy on the very edge of Park Row where we have to hit the switches as they suddenly pop up, one of the most annoying trophies ever that I somehow get incredibly quickly. A super close call trophy we can barely get is on the first riddle room, where we hit this switch with the bolas, then quickly fall down to the ground below to collect the trophy before the case closes. Right next door, we can hit this switch as soon as it lights up to collect this trophy, and destroy our 15th weak wood wall to collect a trophy behind it. Underneath this car is another trophy we can slide to obtain, and up on the Mad Hatter building is another plate trophy we can just barely grab by running off the plate to nab it before it closes. There's another sliding trophy just down the street from the courthouse, and speaking of which, there's absolutely nothing we can obtain in there, so we don't have to talk about it. But back in the Bowery, there's another super close call trophy that we can just barely grab. Here we have 2 switches, and only 3 seconds to hit both of them. So we hit this farther one way first, then book it over to the other while waiting for the bolas to hit. Once it does, we have just barely enough time to hit the other switch with the whip and open the case, collecting the trophy. Didn't think we'd be able to get this one, but we just barely managed it, and I'll take it. Like I said, we can't go into Wonder City, and that includes through the processing center, as it's blocked off from Catwoman, so we miss out on a few trophies there. Under the elevated train station is this trophy with 6 switches, which is just really weird. Catwoman just barely can't throw her bolas fast enough to activate the switches. Except she kinda can? I somehow managed to get all of them activated and open the cage, and there's even a climbable ceiling for Catwoman to climb on to try and grab it. but it just doesn't let you grab this trophy. I have a feeling that this trophy wasn't given the grabbable property since it's on a ceiling, and thus Batman would never be able to grab it, and would have to use the Batclaw to obtain it. Therefore, even though Catwoman is right on top of it, she just can't grab it. So we can kinda get this trophy, but since I couldn't put it in her pockets, I didn't count it in our sum. I even went back to try again later thinking it was a glitch, but the same thing happened, so no, it's just not possible to grab. And after all those shenanigans, now we can finally head into the steel mill, where we can collect only a single trophy. We head all the way to the smelting chamber where we can slide under this structure to collect the single trophy underneath it. And that's it. All other trophies require Batman's influence in some way. We can't head anywhere in the cooling tunnels because we don't have the freeze blast, so we can't get anything there. And we can't head into the basement because we don't have the crypto sequencer. So we come in here for this single trophy and then up and leave. There's only a few trophies left, so let's go round them up quick. Starting with this other mine puzzle on the edge of Amusement Mile, where we can tank 2 mines and just barely survive to collect this trophy back here, then reload checkpoint to escape unharmed. And all the way back in the Bowery, we slide under this cage outside the museum to collect 1 more trophy, ending the run. With that, since I couldn't be bothered to count everything manually, I switched back to Batman and collected a single trophy to open Riddler's page on the pause menu. And in the end, we were only able to complete a mere 76 challenges with Catwoman. Ignore the fact it says 95, I collected some of Catwoman's trophies during the run without thinking and realized I needed to subtract them after the fact because this is a run for Batman's trophies and Batman's trophies only. But there we go. Now we know that Batman really does need to put in the work to collect Eddie's trophies, because Catwoman can't even do 20% of them. And for the record, over a third of these were just breakables that practically anyone would be able to do. Taking those out of the equation, Catwoman ends up collecting an incredibly meager 47 trophies. That is so minuscule that Batman would be better off doing the work on his own. Especially since this whole run lasted as long as it would have taken for me to beat the game as a speedrun. The simple fact of the matter is that Catwoman can't do any of the impressive stuff that Batman can. You'll notice that at least 15 of these trophies were just breaking weak wooden walls, while the rest of them were either sitting out in the open or needed a battering equivalent to hit a switch or two. These puzzles are all so easy that even the brain-dead inmates of Arkham City would have been able to figure them out if given a few rocks to throw. The run was a nice change of pace compared to what I'm used to, but I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you really like playing as Catwoman for some inconceivable reason. But if you are one of the 17 people out there who do, be my guest. With all that said, do all the YouTube stuff, because I have no idea why I keep doing Riddler-based challenges. What is wrong with me? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, chaps.
This is hardly a surprise. I always knew I was better than you.